All right, shalom, shalom. I'm gonna start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Hey, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do teach and rule well. And shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. I'm gonna make this real quick, real quick. This is pretty much just gonna be like a little lunch break in tapping into the topic of the day, which is the IUIC and their continuous rhetoric of what's the word I'm looking for? Damnable heresies, we'll say. forgive me. But I'm gonna play a little bit of the apostles video, and we'll see where the spirit leads me. And I don't think I'm gonna really go too much into this actual topic at hand. My main focus is pretty much is going to be within the temple of the Most High within you, because I was even watching a video. It had to be yesterday, and then I finished up the rest of it today, where the usual Christian view of prophecy. They think there's going to be a third temple that's going to be built before the Messiah comes. But what you're witnessing happen with the Israelites waking up, being brought back to the Father, through the word of prophecy. That is the temple being rebuilt. The house of David. Closing up those breaches. Which are the elect, and that's why in every video we go into and every video we talk about is centered around what the elect not falling short during this heavy time of temptation. And that ultimate time of temptation. With them carrying the name of Yahweh Shai. And that faith that's required for them to be granted salvation. These are the times that we're in right now. So let's play this.
The deacon, he said pretty much that, that if a man and a woman had sex, they were unclean. He said to the afternoon, but no, to the evening. All right? Defile. The word there is halal. So it's not like they don't know. But this is how they put it spiritual. Well, since the tabernacle is not here, that law doesn't apply to them.
You are part of the tabernacle. The tabernacle is here. You represent a brick of the tabernacle.
Well,
yep, and every elect member on this side, just to add on to that third temple that I spoke about, that's the 144,000, which is going to be the governing body, which when you read in Revelation 21, it talks about that new Jerusalem coming down from heaven, ordained as a bride, which that was in the Lord's Prayer, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. The order that's established, with the spirits in the heavens and the order that's there, it's going to be played out here on earth. We don't need a third temple to get there. Like we talked about, the tabernacle of David is being rebuilt.
the tabernacle is not here, then how come you're not a mole? How come your woman's not a lesbian? How come you're not wearing a dress? How come you don't have on?
How come you only have one woman?
No lipstick and high heels? How come you're not walking around in panties? The tabernacle is not here, right? According to you guys. So if that law doesn't apply, that you can't have sex with your woman, so
back to Matthew 23, first couple of verses, the Lord told the people, do as they say do, but
Do as they say,
do,
as they do.
well, how they say it, because do what they say do, but don't do what they do, because they say and do not.
Yeah, they fucking
Merely
hypocrites. And the IUIC is a group full of hypocrites. These Christian churches, a group full of hypocrites. They'll tell you all these things about, hey man, we should be following the Bible, but they don't do anything centered around what the Bible tells them to do. Hey, and that's what the scriptures say. These people do draw near with me with their ears. Hey, but hey, their hearts are far away from the Heavenly Father. It's all about outward appearance with these people. Forgetting that the eyes of the Lord are 10 times brighter than the sun. So hey, you can fool man and you can do all this stuff to heap unto yourself disciples and uh, uh, do things for your lustful nature. But ultimately, man, you're receiving your reward where you're doing it for yourself right now. You know, as the scriptures say, man, we're unprofitable servants. We ain't supposed to be getting uh, uh, our crown on this side. You know, any crown on this side, as the scriptures talk about, is a corruptible crown. You know, you received your consolation.
Phrasing, I was almost verbatim. And meaning, they're going to tell you to keep the laws. Yeah, of course, keep the laws. But don't be hypocrites like them, because they'll tell you to keep the laws and they don't keep, they committing adultery, doing all kind of wickedness. Setting up.
Yeah. When it comes to the law, if you're saying when you have sex, you know, you're clean until the afternoon. The scriptures don't say the law doesn't state that. It says you're unclean until the evening, you know, which is another thing, and it's clearly put in there for you. But y'all spin masters, you know, y'all take this information, y'all twist and turn it, you know, ultimately to build your own narrative, you know.
People get put to death. They set up the Messiah to get him put to death.
Right.
So that's murder.
And in a nutshell, you know, in a roundabout way, that's what the IUIC is doing to their congregation right now, you know, which goes into, I believe that's Micah, or is it Malachi? It's one of those two where it talks about how they flay the flesh off of the children of Israel. You know, these false leaders that ultimately know what they should be doing, but they don't do it only to gain followers, to gain money, to gain notoriety. You know, which this, we're supposed to be watching for the soul, not watching for the pockets. You see, so hey, there's going to be a recompense for the IUIC and them constantly, even with reproof, you know, following these damnable heresies.
That's why they said don't say his name in Acts 5. If you keep pushing his name and he become famous, you turning him into a martyr. That's why they commanded the apostles not to say his name over guilt.
Should not any of the other laws apply? And this is what happens. See, these guys, they confuse their congregation, and their congregation is not adept. Their congregation is not, they're not critical thinkers. They're not Berean minded. They don't look, you know, to see, okay, he said this, but that doesn't sound right because the scripture just said that. They're not, if it's not a part of a precept package or something that was, you know, prepared for them to regurgitate, they don't know how to function.
And that's what they do, they regurgitate. For years, they've been teaching the new moon is dark moon. This was, what was this, November of 2016. Oh, I did some research and this, that, and the third. The spirit was with me. The new moon is a full moon. And people, you know, they just accepted it.
And Yahushua said that, you know, the spirit is like the wind. You don't know where it's going. You don't know where it's coming from. So is everyone that is going to the spirit.
So you can watch the rest of the apostles' videos. You know, I know the elder Yashawamba, he went into it. As you can see, the apostle Tahar, he's lambacking off of the apostle Ramla right now, and I did a little lamback. But let's do this just to prove the point on the kingdom of heaven is within man. And look, there's multiple scriptures that show that, but we just gonna get one quick one, you know. And the apostles, they brought this one out, you know, but it covers a various amount of topics, you know, when it comes to just the people that talk about the third temple being built, you know, dudes that would like to speak just all kind of rhetoric, you know, to get to build their following, you know, what you're witnessing right now, men that are completely who the Lord is and gifted that mindset to follow him. You're watching them being built up right now, so when Yahweh Shai come back, they'll be fit and ready, because the scriptures tell us, man, there's a list of individuals who won't inherit the kingdom of heaven, especially being the first fruits. The whole nation of Israel ultimately will be granted, the kingdom of heaven, but salvation belongs to the elect, and you're witnessing them stand upon their feet right now, go into the gates of the noble, shake their hands, and be hated for telling the truth. Let's see, 1 Corinthians 3. Like I said, this ain't, I ain't even intend on making it long. It was just like a little quick lunch break because I've been, I got the luxury at my job where I can, they don't really trip about phones too heavy. You know what I'm saying? It's a job, so you don't want, it's a balance, but I can always put my headphones in, and I be doing my little thing, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really have a target on my back. So what I'm saying, long story short, is I have the opportunity to listen to videos, and if you have those and that's the kind of thing that the Lord requires of you, multitasking and making sure you're at all times doing what you need to do, so you can be the best vessel towards honor, so the Lord can use you, whether that comes with a sharpening your mind, through the scriptures, sharpening your vessel, with health, a sharpening how you dictate and move amongst people. Hey, the Lord's watching all of that, and we're gonna carry all of these things that we're learning and sharpening right now into the kingdom, and this is what that third temple being rebuilt is all about. Let's see. Yeah, we gotta yeah, we gotta start at 10. Now we gotta start. let's start at 8. This 1 Corinthians 3:8. It says, now he that planteth and he that watereth are one. It says, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his labor. Yeah, and that's what we just talked about. Hey, these things that we're utilizing, this time that we're utilizing now, this time of mercy, where we're not distracted by outside influence, outside of Yahweh by Shemi Yahushua, righteous will. Now you can dibble and dabble and, watch what's going on, which you should. We shouldn't be ignorant of anything, but you should never be overly invested outside of anything, that isn't conducive to salvation and the sheep's salvation. It goes on to say, it says, for we are laborers together with the Most High. It says, ye are the Most High's husbandry. It says, ye are his building. So we the Lord's husbandry. Those that are doing the will right now, that's his bride, and what does it say? We are his building. So we don't need a third tabernacle to be rebuilt, because as we talked about, the tabernacles of David are being rebuilt right now, which are the Israelites, the first fruit of the kingdom of heaven, the elect, the elect, the elect, the elect, the elect, the elect. That's what it's about on this side. Nothing else, Even Yahweh Shai, he spoke about the elect. Hey, I would hope that you would not take them out of the world, but leave them, because just as Yahweh Shai finished his course, we have a course to finish as well. So when we do, Lord willing, of that number, when we do become joint heirs, our work, can be done, and Yahweh Shai can look at us and be like, hey, well done, thy good and faithful servant. It goes on to say, according to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me, it says, as a wise master builder. Yeah, so we all building on to that chief cornerstone, which is Yahweh Shai, and we add skillfully, as even I believe it's in Proverbs where it talks about adding to a skillful saying. And all of these words of prophecy that the Lord gave the inspiration to the prophets of old, we're adding unto it, and that's what Habakkuk 2 talks about. The write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he that read may runneth, and we run it with this thing, and we add our own skillfulness to it, being wise master builders. But when we're wise master builders, that don't mean we add too much mortar here on a brick that don't need to add a little extra mortar, and that's what you see certain Israelites do. They want to be Israelite rappers, add Israelite community uplifters, or whatever the case may be, nah. When Yahushua gave us the commission, in Matthew 28 and Matthew 10, on how to go out and teach this word to the house of Israel, how we were to do it was very plain and simple. Everything else is superfluous. As Apostle Paul spoke about, superfluity of naughtiness. It says, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon, but let every man take heed how he build thereon. What we literally just talked about. Take heed on how you build on this thing, because the Lord will pull you right the fuck up on out. Look at the Genesis, the TGC ministry. Hey, who knows where they're at? They've been off the scene for almost 3 going on 4 months now. Where the fuck you at? You're man. It goes on to say, it says, for other foundations can no man lay then that is laid, which is Yahushua Hamashiach. So what? You third temple individuals, no man can lay on any other foundation other than how you lay onto Yahushua, and as we know, the Most High don't dwell in temples made with hands. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe they say, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they say that the false prophet, and this is what they say. And when I say false prophet, I'm going based on what they say, because there are many false prophets, and there are many antichrists. Anybody who doesn't believe on the doctrine that we push right now is an antichrist. But I believe they say that the antichrist and the false prophet, hey, he'll be within the third temple, and he'll push his agenda, blah blah blah. Nah, man. Hey, that ain't got nothing to do with what the scriptures is talking about. But hey, you err not knowing the scriptures. You're not spiritually discerned. That's why we say you Christians, hey, you guys you're zombies, and you're more of zombies. I'll give it to the I'll give it to the IUIC. You Christian zombies, well, you IUIC zombies are better than you Christian zombies. I'll give you that. It says, now, if any man build upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, and stubble, it says, every man's work shall be made manifest. It says, for the day shall declare it. It says, because it shall be revealed by fire, and fire shall try every man's works of what sort it is. And that's what we are going through right now. This is the refining process that the Lord is putting his men through. We're being tried as the goal, the goal of wafer, which I believe I said it right. But we're being refined as gold is refined. In that process of refining gold, it takes extreme heat. So the Lord is trying us through the fire, and that fire is making sure our minds are fortified to withhold and be able to take on anything that the enemy can throw at us, that we will never curse the Most High's name. Let's see. Yeah, and that was the point. Let's go to Revelation 12. I gotta end it. Revelation 12 real quick. 21, forgive me, not 12, 21. And yeah, here we go. Let's start at the top. Point out 1 is in 2. We'll read down to 3. Revelation 21 and 1, it says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. And what's that new heaven and that new earth? Hey, that's after Yahushua comes back. He redeems his elect, and he takes dominion over the earth. It says, for The first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Meaning what? There was no more abundance of these people. This mindset, the collective conscious that you see right now, because wait, look, when those chariots crack the sky, hey, things are going to drastically change. Hey, there was I believe it was in Miami, I want to say, just a recent UFO sighting that they just shook up this girl's whole world. And she don't know up from down no more. It fucked her up. You know, and that's what is going on. That's what's going to take place when Yahweh Shah comes and takes dominion over this world. It's going to shake everybody up so bad that they're not going to know what's going on. They're not going to know up from down. So the collective conscience is going to be completely changed. It says, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, come down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So what? Jerusalem is a people before it's a place where we're going to come down from heaven and be joint heirs with Yahweh Shah, and establish authority. It says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High shall be with them. And that, who is the Lord's people first and foremost? The Israelites. The rest of the nation is going to be here on earth, but they won't have the law, statutes, and commandments written in their inward parts. There's going to be a rank and file order system that's going to be established, and y'all going to be on the bottom, just like we're on the bottom now. The curses is going to be reversed, as it states in Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. So I got to end it. I'm going to end it off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Once again, double honor to the elders and apostles, a great millstone. Shalom to the elect.